I like to think it's going to be history versus common sense. You guys can decide for yourselves. You know, it's funny because I was talking with my manager on the way over here and we were laughing a little bit because the irony of this debate is she would not be standing here, with all due respect, she would not be getting paid to debate me if not for feminism. That's,
you know, it's really funny. When we were discussing this debate, Rachel's like, I got to prep. I always want to make sure I prep, blah, 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 blah. I remember telling her, I was like, you don't need to. Like, this guy's just he's not going to do any research, and he's just going to do the same exact lines that you've debunked 10,000 times. It's going to be, well, you couldn't even debate right now if it wasn't for feminism. It's just all sloganeering. I was like, what else? You're talking about the biggest propaganda sloganist on the internet. Brian doesn't have original thoughts. Brian doesn't have original. He doesn't even know how to think. The guy doesn't even know how to think. He's a sloganeer. That's it. It's easy to contend with him because of that. His closing statement was downright uncalled for, and you guys deserve an apology. He'll never apologize.
Buddy, that's a fact. She would not have been paid to write her book if not for feminism. And
right, so women didn't get paid, free feminism, write books. That's fucking stupid. What an idiot, this guy.
And the people that work really hard to give her the opportunity to do this.
Dean said he would consider debating Rachel after seeing the Shapiro debate. I'm so shocked he's still running from a real... He won't debate feminism with Rachel. She'd destroy him. She would absolutely crush him. He has nothing. He thinks that it's going to be like walking into a debate with, what's that chick? Emily Saves America. She's not Emily Saves America. Rachel has actual argument. All these broads copy her. She doesn't copy any of them. Loved it, but a rewatch is just rage baiting. Well played, Mr. Wilson. Yeah. Tell you why, Shapiro probably.
I don't care how much money she's getting paid. I don't care how much money her husband makes.
He cares about both of those things, by the way.
The fact of the matter is that she wouldn't be here if not for feminism. Again, not an opinion, fact.
No, that's actually 100% an opinion. Imagine saying that. Rachel wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for feminism. That's not an opinion. That's a fact. It's definitionally an opinion. It's like, it's definitionally not a fact, and it definitionally is an opinion. That's why I was just laughing at my ass off. Everything this guy says is so fucking stupid, it makes no sense. It's a fact that Rachel wouldn't be here today without feminism. That's not an opinion. It's like, it's 100% an opinion, dude.
I've never been called a feminist before. I've been called a lot of things by a lot of people. Never been called a feminist because I don't think I am one. I'm just somebody that doesn't like to tell other people what to do with their lives, man or woman. Who am I?
Right. I don't like telling people what to do with their lives. Now, Rachel, stop telling people what to do with their lives. You just can't make it up. How do you make this stuff up? I don't appreciate it when people tell other people what to do with their lives, and they need to stop doing that. They don't even see it, you know? I sit there and process this while this guy's talking, and I think in my head, you fucking dolt. You know, like every word you say contradicts the previous word you said.
Who am I to tell a woman, you should stay at home? You shouldn't be in the workplace. You shouldn't have kids after 30. No. I want people to live
None of these are things Rachel says, by the way.
Their lives and do the things that they want to do because life is short. What right do I have, man or woman, to tell you what to do?
What right do I have to tell you what to do? Stop telling people what to do. Stop it. I don't have any right to tell you what to do. Now stop telling people what to do. Oh, with like 5 seconds of thinking about the position, Brian could have saved himself from his objective stupidity.
With your life. Now, I'm not really sure, and I'll ask Rachel this question, what does this country look like for her? Does she not want women to work at all? Does she want us to be a third world country like Afghanistan where women are not allowed to work?
Oh, gee, the Afghanistan argument. Never heard that one before. Oh, yeah, the Christian nationalist wants Sharia law. Never heard it. I'm sure she's completely unprepared for that, Brian. Hey, Andrew, I'm a big believer in stronger states' rights. Would you be in support of the states getting more power? Yes, to check federal authority, especially.
Now, you're going to hear this word a lot in this debate. No, it's not going to be Donald Trump. But you're going to hear the word hypocrisy a lot.
And right when Brian said this, I knew. Right when he said this, I knew that my prediction was right. That this was just going to be a debate of the we hear it 10,000 times a day talking points. And I can even tell you how this came about. If you guys are wondering why it is that Brian went this route. You see him with his tongue sticking out right now. Do you see this? With his little tongue sticking out. You want to know how I knew that Brian was going to do this? So, Brian has been DMing me, a bunch of threats about how he's going to get together with Venti and other creators and blah, 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 blah. Right. But I knew going into this debate that Brian wouldn't have arguments. And I also knew that the League of Former Prostitutes, the evil League of Former Prostitutes, would call him or get a hold of him on X or someplace. Be like, you got to check out all the dirt on the Wilsons. Check out this dirt, Brian. Because they do that with everyone. And that Brian would actually be stupid enough to think, I don't even need arguments. All I need is the dirt from the League of Evil. That's it for the Wilsons. Sure, it's the number one criticism we get from everybody, but I'm certain it'll work this time, Brian, and that Rachel will be completely unprepared for this type of attack. Gee. Not going to lie, during this open, I was dying laughing, telling my husband, watch this. He's going to get destroyed. This literally is the worst argument he could have made, totally. Don't tell people what to do while simultaneously supporting C-19 policies, but it's just not even that, right? Don't tell people what to do. You shouldn't tell people what to do. It's self-refuting, right? Like, I don't believe that anybody should tell anybody else what to do. Stop doing that. It's just funny, okay? It's ironic. That could be like a linguistic semantic, I guess, but I don't think so. I think it's actually self-refuting. I'm waiting for the economy. What's that? Rachel is so unapologetically awesome. Yeah, it was funny. When Rachel calls him a dumb, it looks like food to the soul. It was funny. This whole thing is hilarious. The way I see Rachel when she debates is as a mom scolding her children. Well, I mean, it kind of is like that. Brian is the character not really sure from Idiocracy. No. Not sure from Idiocracy was a fucking genius compared to Brian. Not sure saved an entire fucking world from a dust bowl, from Brondo, from the evil corporate Brondo. Okay. President Not Sure brought America back from the brink. You son of a bitch. Brian is no President Not Sure. He's not even a President Camacho. Okay. Such an idiot. I can hardly handle listening to this dude speaking. Love you, Andrew. Love you too, man. I love you. so great. I love you.
Because Rachel's made decisions in her life because of feminism. Rachel's had the opportunity.
Here we go.
To get out of relationships because of feminism.
Boy, you should never heard that one before, Brian. You got her on the ropes now.
It wasn't even that long ago where women were in abusive relationships, but they weren't allowed to get out of those relationships.
Oh, gee. If only Rachel had prepared for the most common argument ever.
I don't care about someone's personal life. I don't care how many baby daddies they have. I don't care how many ex-husbands they have. It's not my business. But in this debate,
it is my business.
It is my business because she's telling other people how they should live their life.
Is she, though?
Why is it okay for her to do that, but not others? I defer.
Now, you can't even believe how stupid this guy is. He said on his show, if you're a person who's a smoker, you got no business telling other people they shouldn't smoke because you're a hypocrite. I'm like, what? So you're a smoker and you have lung cancer and you're on your deathbed and you're like, smoking's bad for you. And Brian's like, shut up, hypocrite. Shut your hypocrite mouth. Like, what are you talking about?
Thank you very much for that opening statement. We're going to kick it over to Ray.
He already looks like he's going to cry, by the way, after he said that. You notice that? Now, I knew by the look on Rachel's face. Rachel's like, okay, you flew all the way out here. This is what I get. I knew by this look. I was like, I've seen that look before. I've seen that look before. Here we go. My woman watched the closing of Rachel's debate. I watched the rest of her feminism leave her body through anger and tears. Funny. Somehow it's not racist to misuse terminology. I guess not.
Rachel for her 5-minute opening as well. Rachel, I have the timer set for you. The floor is all yours.
Well, thanks for coming, everybody, and being here. It's great to see so many faces, and all of you online watching, thanks for your support. Thank you to Andrew for giving me something beautiful to look at in the front row. I
mean, she's not lying. Now, look, I know that there are possibly women in this very chat who don't think that I'm the most handsome guy who's ever lived, which is, I think, unfair and ridiculous. But it's true. But even you broads have to admit that I'm way better to look at than Brian Shapiro. I mean, come on. It's funny how this idiot really thought he was on to something this whole debate. He's a moron. I love how he doesn't want us to look like certain countries while advocating to import those same countries. Yeah. Yeah, there was a lot of avenues. Bullshit brought up something that is unacceptable. They always do that, man. But, well, I mean, in Brian's defense, what else was he going to do? It's not like he was going to be able to competently debate Rachel on anything. Someone should draw a picture of Benjamin Franklin flying Bryce-Sharp with a kite and a key. No. You think that I was, you think that was a sound from the lungs? No. It's like, I think one of these nasty bugs flew into my mouth and I was just like, bleh.
whole straw
But then I figured, I just swallow it. It's protein.
and opening is brand new for me, but that should be fun. So for my opening, the topic of the debate is, has feminism been good for women and children? I'm glad we're talking about this because the whole reason I do this is that feminism has destroyed the lives of children. So let's talk about the promises of feminism, what it told women and children it was going to do, how they got suffrage passed, how they got the whole agenda passed. It was supposed to provide women with safety, equality, and happiness. Let's look at the last 100 years and see if feminism has delivered on any of those promises to women and kids. So after a no-fault divorce became kind of the law
You'll eat bugs and you'll be happy. That's right.
of the land starting in the 60s and spread across the country, we changed all of society. Prior to 1950, there were only about 2%.
All right, I'm going to skip Rachel's intro here so we can get to the back and forth. Because that's where things start to get interesting. So tit for tat, my contention is that Brian Shapiro never got in a single point or actual zinger this entire debate.
Most wallets still plug into the same system we were trying to escape in the first place. And that's why Rumble built Rumble Wallet. It's a self-custodial wallet that lives inside an ecosystem that actually defends free speech and financial freedom. No bank holding your balance, not even Rumble can touch your funds. This is your money, on your keys, on your terms. So if you're serious about sovereignty, financial and digital, this is where you level up. Go to wallet.rumble.com or search Rumble Wallet in your app store, download it, back up your recovery phrase, and move your money where it belongs, in your hands.
I'm going to bring this up and I'm going to bring up some studies. Now, Rachel has 3 baby daddies. Why is that important?
It's not.
Well, Guzzo
It's not true, which is really funny. Not true and not important.
and Firstberg study says that if you do have multiple baby daddies, the family has higher stress, more likely to have more mental health issues. The things that
Oh, making Rachel's point for her.
you claim that you care so much about, I do as well. The Doria study, lower income and families most likely in children have a lower education rate.
Still making Rachel's point for her.
The Rutgers study, you just talked about physical violence. The Rutgers study, which, by the way, these studies have just come out in the last couple of years. You could look it up if you would like on your phone.
She already knows him. This entire debate is a microcosm of the culture war. Rachel calmly stating evidence and Brown making emotional appeals and attacking Rachel. What else could he do?
By the way, you want to go back to 50 years or 100 years ago, then why do you use a cell phone? I'm just curious. Why do you use a cell phone? You can laugh, but if you want to go back to the way things were 50 or 100 years ago, we were a slavery nation.
If you want to go back 100 years, why do you use a cell phone, Rachel? Huh? Huh? You want to explain that to me? Think you're so fucking smart. Want to go back to 100? Then why are you using a cell phone? Smart guy. Explain that one to me. Explain that one to me, smarty pants. I remember when that happened, Avarice was sitting next to me. I looked over at him and he was like, "The f-" I was like, I don't know. And that's what I was doing the whole debate. I was like, why are you looking at me? I don't fucking know what this guy's doing. I don't know.
Are we still a slavery nation now? Do you want to go back to slavery? Should people be allowed to vote? I'd love you to answer those questions. But anyway, going back to that Rutgers study, if you have multiple baby daddies, there's a much higher rate, in fact, a 24% higher risk of physical violence and
Still making Rachel's arguments for her.
Halpern study. Among other studies, you're likely to be below the poverty line if you have multiple baby daddies.
Just still making Rachel's argument.
Now, you might tell me right now, and I would believe you, if you said, I got through it, my kids grew up to be great people, and I would say, I'm happy for you. I think that's great. But why is it okay for you, but not okay for them? Why is it okay for you to say, well, you know what, I made some, maybe you won't say it was a mistake, I don't know, I'll ask you. But why would it be okay for you hypothetically to say, I made some mistakes, but, you know, everything turned out okay, my kids turned out okay. Why can't other women use those same excuses if they have kids after 30, or if they want their own career?
What's that? What? Do you like how this is just, none of this is even going anywhere? It's just non sequiturs. That doesn't even make sense. Like, just apply this to anything else. Right? Hey, Andrew, do you think that guy was a mistake? Yeah, it was a mistake. Shouldn't have done that. Well, why can't other people use that excuse, huh? What? I don't, like, what are you even talking about? You know, it's just like, it's just gibberish, just nonsense gibberish from this guy's mouth. Yeah, you don't like the way things are? Join the Amish then. Just bizarre.
If you want to be a stay-at-home mom with kids, I think that's great. Go ahead and do that. But if you want to be out there in the workforce and be a doctor or a lawyer, you should be allowed to do that too. And Bible thumpers shouldn't be telling you what you should or shouldn't do.
We should be telling Bible thumpers what they should or shouldn't tell people what they should or shouldn't do. That's his actual argument. We need to tell Bible thumpers to stop telling people who aren't Bible thumpers what they can and can't do. Okay?
That's exactly what you do, Rachel. So I'd like you to explain to this audience right now why it's okay for you to have 3 baby daddies, why it's okay for you to take those risks and those studies that I just mentioned for your kids, but why is it not okay for everybody else?
Now, for those of you who are married out in the audience, has your wife ever given you that look? Does anybody besides me recognize that look? That's the you f***ed up big time. And there's about to be f***ing hell to pay. There's going to be hell to pay. Yes. You see that look? Now I saw it. I noticed it. I grabbed my Pepsi and I took a drink and I had a big grin on my face because I thought to myself, you done f***ed up, son. She's going to tear into you like a hobo into a bologna sandwich. She's going to rip out. She's going to literally, this guy is going to get, what was the Viking thing? The blood eagled. She's going to blood eagle you. Okay. There's going to be blood eagling going on here. Okay. I've seen it before. Now, usually that's a look which is reserved for the children. Because when she gives me that look, I just laugh at her. Then you do the patronizing pat on the head because you know that it's going to be intensify. You ever done that? They give you this look like, "Oh, you son of a," and then you give them a patronizing pat on the head, and then they lose their mind. Look, I haven't done it in years, but I just think it's funny. Okay. Like a mother scolding glare. He's 99% Irish. He screams leprechaun. True.
We will switch over to Rachel for her 5-minute rebuttal. Got the timer set for you, Rachel. The floor is all yours.
So what you just heard was amateur hour of somebody who does not know how to make an argument, somebody who doesn't know what a debate is or how to
Ad hominem
have a
attacks.
debate.
This guy can't even control himself in the rebuttal section. Notice Rachel didn't interrupt, didn't interject, nothing. Brian was actually expecting some sort of righteous indignation, storming off the stage, something like that. He was expecting a much worse reaction from her, not realizing that she's a pro. Doesn't give a knows you're just making yourself look stupid. All she has to do is stand there and let you. So Brian, on the other hand, now that she's in her rebuttal stage, he can't control himself. She instantly starts off with the humiliation sequence, and Brian instantly defensive. The second I saw that, I knew that he would not have the impulse control to get through the rest of the debate, and he didn't. Rachel countered Brian's logic by prioritizing ontological truths over modern pragmatism, exposing the fragility of the secular conservatism, showing that without spiritual hierarchy, even facts lose meaning. Well, I do think she focused on ontology, yes. Vikings, hurry to your death before someone takes your place. Is there anyone here willing to talk to me about orthodoxy? I need help, please. Go to the Orthodox Discord. That's what it's for.
You can't
Ad hominem
interrupt.
attacks.
You can't.
Well, you can't interrupt during the
No.
Yep, go ahead.
Again, amateur hour. This is the person who did the ad hominem attacks. He didn't present an argument. He just said, "What about you?" He used a tu quoque fallacy. What about you, though? This debate has
Brian doesn't even know what a tu quoque fallacy is.
nothing to do with my life or your life or
Yes,
my
it does.
personal life or your personal life.
We got to mute you.
Okay.
You're going to interrupt.
So the moderator, Brian later says that this is bias from the moderator. That during Brian's entire rebuttal sequence, Rachel didn't say a word because she's not supposed to. Brian couldn't help himself, couldn't shut his leprechaun mouth for 5 seconds. During her rebuttal stage, Brian claims, well, the moderator muted me. That's bias. Hey, what world do you live in, dude? Brian's mother and I are very disappointed in him. Blame you. These anti-Wilsons really believe saying baby daddy is a good attack and hurts you too. Brian has the nerve to pretend he's not attacking her with insults and doing for, well, it's really funny too, because there seems to be this opinion. It's a bizarre one. If we call your wife horrible, vile names, it's going to upset you. Like, isn't it supposed to? Like, What are you talking about? Do you have a theory on how this guy got as popular as he is? He's not popular. He's never been popular. He's brought on to various shows to be a heel. That's it.
Control yourself, Brian.
Yeah.
Sean, please mute Brian.
That was me, by the way. Did you hear that? Control yourself, Brian? Hang on. Back it up a little tiny bit here. When you hear control yourself, Brian, that was actually me who said that to him.
Or your life, or
Yes,
my
it does.
personal life, or your personal life.
We got to mute you.
Okay.
You're going to interrupt.
Control yourself, Brian.
Yeah.
That was me. That was me from the front row. I said, control yourself, Brian. And then he looked down at the podium. Watch again. When I tell him that, he looks right down at the podium.
This debate has nothing to do with my life or your life or
Yes,
my
it does.
personal life or your personal life.
We got to mute you.
Okay.
You're going to interrupt.
Control yourself, Brian.
Yeah.
Sean, please mute Brian.
Staggering lack
Control
of
yourself,
self-control.
Brian.
So, again, another fallacy, a straw man fallacy. My argument was not that I can tell women what to do. My whole entire opening was just explaining what has happened to society in general, going over data. There was no condemnation of working mothers. There was no condemnation of women who need to leave abusive relationships like I did. There was no, we need to go back to slavery, which was 50 years ago, I guess. Again, not sure how this person is employed in media. But all that aside, he did not address any of the arguments I made, which were that, actually what he did was support my arguments by saying, yeah, when families are broken up, it's bad for kids. When we see divorce, rampant divorce, children raised in single household families, it's...
Yeah, see, I knew it. I was so impressed with Rachel maintaining her integrity against such a douche, and I have to admit, you are better to look at, Andrew, than Brian. See? Some honesty.
bad for kids. Yes, it is. Now, if everyone was only getting divorced in instances of abuse or abandonment, we would see divorce rates much closer to
All right.
numbers.
We'll go into the back and forth. Hang on.
World in the last 2 years. Do you know the reason for
I
that?
can tell you what the actual data says. The data says that the number one correlate to declining birth rates around the world in every culture, regardless of income or religion, is women's access to higher education and pushing them into
Not
the
true.
workforce.
So according to the Johns
Yes, it
Hopkins
is
School
Not true, Brian. This is the funniest exchange probably out of all of them, and a lot of people missed it. Rachel says the largest correlate among all cultures for the declining birth rate is pushing women into higher education. That's what she says. Brian says, not according to John Hopkins. According to John Hopkins, which reviewed this for the last 2 years, women aren't having kids because it's the economy, stupid. It's like, fucking dumb. Doesn't even understand the argument. You should have Will Smithed him. I'm just kidding. Rachel's so grateful to this. What could I have done to him that would have been worse than what Rachel's doing to him?
of Public Health, which has been polled for the last 2 years. They've done it 8 times. The Johns Hopkins School of Public Health, I'll take their word over yours. They say the number one reason why women don't want to bring children into the world is something called the economy, Rachel.
It's something called the economy.
Now let's talk a little bit about the economy
what's
real
that?
quick. Hold on. Let's talk a little bit about that. Let's talk a little bit about that, Rachel.
Okay.
Why are
That was just mocking him.
people losing their medical coverage? Why are people losing their food stamps? Is it because they're just lazy
Because Donald Trump. I'll tell you exactly why. Because Donald f***ing Trump, Rachel.
and they don't want to work?
Okay,
You see, because
we're doing another straw man argument
it's a straw
because
man.
yes, because
Everything's a straw man argument.
I'll explain how you're wrong.
Yeah, I'll explain why you're
The
wrong.
only people who do have replacement birth rates are the poorest people. So if it was economics, we wouldn't see that the only people having children would be the poorest among us. And historically, everybody has had children during times of
So it's because of
much
poor
worse
people. You're
poverty.
saying the reason why is because poor people can't bring people into the world.
No, I'm
How do you fucking argument up that bad? Rachel says, well, that doesn't really make sense because the demographic having the most amount of kids is actually the poorest demographic. Brian says, so the problem is poor people. What? What are you talking about? What? Now, I can tell you this too. You know that Shapiro must be in good with all of the progressives at America, because normally guys like the Coomer, Gremlin, and others would be laughing at this idiot for this performance. None of them will even touch it. Now, when else is going to be the case that you have a former Joe Rogan guest who's a right-wing patriarchist female do a debate with a male feminist and none of these people on the progressive side will touch it? Yeah, that doesn't happen. Only happening because of damage control.